Hello, aspirants. I am Kinjal from Legal Edge, and I am a part of English department in Legal Edge. When I was asked to do a book talks, without any second thought, I went ahead and chose RK Narayan's The Guide. I chose this book because it is a powerful medium to make its reader understand the importance of human mind and the amazing power it holds. Apart from this, I had a little emotional reason to choose this book, I must say, because this was the very first book that got me interested into my habit of reading. RK Narayan, I truly feel, is a blessed writer because he can make the readers go through all the feelings and pains his characters go through. So, this, if you ever read about R.K. Narayan, the first thing the Wikipedia page would show is that he is a Sahitya Akademi Award winner of year 1960, and this was the book which made him one. Apart from that, the brilliance of this book can be understood by the very fact that the very intelligent Devanand chose to produce and to act in the storyline of this book, and it was released in Bollywood with the same name, The Guide. It was also among the very first few films which were dubbed in English, and it was released in America with the name Survival. In the year 1965, it was released abroad. So my experience with the book is not very much, as I already told you that I really think he is a blessed novelist. Apart from that, when I finished this book, I was so touched, and it actually left me with a feeling of incompleteness in the first time. But with time, I think this book was really therapeutic. And the most important thing is that I promised to myself that I would read every work by R.K. Narayan now onwards. So, talking about the storyline of this book, the protagonist of this book is Raju, and the story revolves around him. And how the story starts is actually very interesting. It starts by the time when Raju is getting out of jail, and he has spent 2 years in jail. There's a lawyer involved in the story, which will make you even more interested, which makes the book even more interesting. When he comes out of the jail, he becomes a monk. And when then the author takes you to his childhood where he was little selfish, I should say, to earn money. Apart from that, there is a transformation, changes that has been given very precisely in the book, how a railway station gets established and how Raju, who was just a child, becomes a tourist guide. Later on, he used to deceive his the tourist there, and he used to say make false claims only to earn more money. He used to make stories to earn more and more money. That is where he met the other character, the other important character of the book, that is Rosie. My heart cried for Rosie throughout the book because she was an exceptionally talented traditional dancer. She was married to this man called Marco, who was emotionally not very available all the time. It shows how Marco was very detached. It has a gender biased role. The book also covers a slight area where Rosie, being a young girl, she's married to this really old guy, and so gender norms, the definition of gender norms has been defined very particularly in this book. The important part of this book is that most of the R.K. Narayan's works are not like this. The female character, especially, the way he has defined Rosie is amazing, I must say. Valen, later on, when Raju comes out of the jail, he he goes out and makes himself a monk, and it is there is a slight journey, a little journey in it, because of which he becomes a monk, which is very interesting and even comic. Valen is one of the followers that Raju had when he became a monk. Later on, this book covers that how you have to pay the price of your deeds that your mind chose to do. It also tells you how hard work can really help you to uplift your life through the way Rosie's storyline went. Undoubtedly, there are plethora of characters in this book, but I, as a reader, could relate to everyone and was interested in all of their individual stories as well. So, coming to the significance of the title of this book, the title of this book, when I started to read the book, in the beginning you see Raju as a monk. So I thought maybe this title is very much related to the idea that he is a monk who would guide people. It actually becomes mockery at sometimes when you realize that Raju is not a real monk and he's just trying to be one to get food twice a day. Later on, when I discovered that Raju was also a tourist guide, that is the point where the story starts to get even more interesting, and that is the point where the title of the book made more sense to me. But by the end of the book, when Raju had to pay for all his deeds, and there was this feeling of detachment, and Raju at the end maybe may not be learned the lesson of not being that he should not be so hypocritical and selfish throughout the book. I understood that maybe this is only a satire, that the title of the book is The Guide. Coming to the so there is little Q&A that I prepared for you. If you have already read the book, I would suggest you to comment down the answers. If not, I want you to read the book and let me know in the comments the answer of this book. So, according to me, Raju's friend Seth was Raju's friend, but he actually deceived him also because the entire plot of the story is hypocritical. So I think that goes along. Who visits? The second question is who visits Raju in the jail? Now, Rosie was the lover that, and she should actually visit Raju. I felt it, but she did not. Marco was Rosie's husband. There is no point Marco would visit Raju in the jail. Valen, he had no idea that Raju was in the jail till the very end of the book. And his mother was the only person who actually felt so much for Raju, and she used to warn him as well about few of his actions. Later on, his mother has also can be seen as a very supportive mother as well, because she accepts Rosie without or knowing the fact that Rosie was not married to Raju. And later on in life, when Raju was going through the most troublesome time of his life, his mother was the person who went ahead and met him in the jail. What was the profession of Rosie's parent? Now, Rosie was a daughter of a dancer. Her mother was a dancer. So D is the correct option here. Fourth question, I have kept it open for you to understand it and write it in the comment. Apart from the protagonist, which of the character had a storyline which is very close to the theme of the story? Now I'm telling you, there are a lot of characters in this book, and this question will have around 7 to 8 answers if I start telling them, if I start preaching it. But the point is that I will tell you only one of them, and I look forward to your comments where you would answer it, and maybe it will give me also another insight to the book. So, according to me, apart from the protagonist, the character that had a very close storyline was definitely Rosie, because she was married to this older guy and he was emotionally very unavailable, would never understand Rosie, and was against the traditional form of dancing. He thought it is over and his and her career would never grow up. She met Raju, and she understood that there's a feeling of love inside her left. So that is transformation part one. Later on, she also, when she understood that Raju maybe is not the appropriate guy to be with, she makes her mind that she wants to pursue her career, works very hard in the little space that she was provided by fate, and goes on to become a successful dancer. So I think Rosie was the character, but it is up to you to tell me, it is up to you to decide what was the character apart from Raju, who went with this storyline of transformation. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. My sole purpose of making this video was to inspire you a little to read this book, and I hope I did my job. Thank you and have a nice day.